Oh, hi there. I'm just a local, plain old, ordinary caribou. Well, actually, I'm part camel and part fish. Well, that's just too confusing. Just call me Caramel. I'll be telling you my story about what happened to the beautiful forest you used to see behind me, and also how I went from being a normal caribou to being part caribou, camel, and fish. So, here it goes. My story begins on a perfect day in Grand Jardin National Park, located 47.6662 degrees north and 70.6277 degrees west in Quebec. It's spring in the Canadian Shield, and it's a prime season for diverse wildlife and beautiful evergreen trees. I absolutely love this national park. Although, come to think of it, I haven't gone anywhere else. Anyway, we have beautiful rivers, forests, and a few lakes, including Lac Saint-Jean and Lac des Tortues Tristes. Oh, and how could I forget, of course, my favorite delicious tree lichen. Not to brag or anything, but I'm a pretty lucky caribou. But what the rest of the animals and I didn't know, while we all thought our lives were pretty great, is that there was an illegal logging company coming to the forest and that would be destroying our home. How this all started is one day I heard an awful noise, and at first I just thought it was a woodpecker, but then it got louder and louder. I didn't know what it was. So then I decided to check it out. I followed the sound until I found where it was coming from. The humans! They had a huge contraption with claw-like things that were cutting down the trees. It scared me to pieces. Why are they doing this? Didn't they know that this is our home? A few days later, I realized the effect this would have on animals in the forest, depriving us of our homes and our food source. Within the next couple of days, my population was being severely affected. Because the lichen we eat grows on the trees that are being cut down, we aren't getting enough to eat. When I thought absolutely nothing would get better and hoping nothing would get worse, I woke up one morning feeling a little weird. When I looked around, I saw that my back looked very different. I'd grown some sort of weird bump that the other animals called a camel hump. They said that the camel is a type of animal that lives in Africa, which is apparently really far away. What was even more strange is after eating that weird morning, I wasn't hungry for 5 days after I ate. 5 days, can you believe it? What was even more amazing is I haven't had water since. The rest of the herd wasn't as lucky as me and didn't evolve to have those so-called adaptations. So they were having thoughts about leaving our once beautiful home. I couldn't do that. I couldn't leave where I lived because of those humans. So I decided to stay behind for my herd and figure out a way to stop the logging. What could I do to stop the loggers? How was I going to stop them? So many questions were running through my mind, and I had no idea how to stop them. I finally decided to just go up to those humans and stand my ground. But there was a change of plans when I got there. There was other humans there standing in front of the cutting contraptions with signs reading "Save the Forest," and I heard weird noises, apparently called sirens, and bright flashing lights. The people with the signs had called the police for the illegal loggers to get arrested. Yay, but they had already cut down my home. I had barely any food to survive just eating every 5 days, and my herd is gone. What am I going to do? I forgot to think about what I was going to do after the loggers had stopped. Most of the ecosystem is destroyed. I need to find something to expand my food palette, so when I get hungry every 5 days for food, I will have something to eat. Maybe the dirt? Or, no, how about the seaweed in Lac Georges? I decided to try the seaweed, and I went underwater, but something was weird. I could breathe like a fish, and I stayed under and grabbed the seaweed and then came back up. And to be honest, the seaweed wasn't that bad. So I fixed the food problem. But the forest is still destroyed, and I don't understand why the humans are doing this. Do they not understand the effect this has on the wildlife? What, do they think we're just going to move? They're destroying our ecosystem. Anyway, after this, I didn't think I could ever trust a human again. But then I saw some humans planting some trees in the forest. Maybe all humans aren't that bad after all.